Space Production presents A Month of Mondays, the monthly wrestling podcast. And here are your hosts, Carl Eggett and Gabe Jonas.
Hey everybody, welcome to issue 2 of A Month of Mondays, your best ever monthly wrestling podcast. Of course, I am here with Carlo Eggett. Carl, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing very good, man. It's a real nice day outside. It's good to be here. It's issue 2 of the greatest monthly wrestling podcast of all time, Gabe. What can you say, really? What can you say?
There's not much else to say other than we're the best, better than all the rest. I don't know any more lyrics to that song. So real quick, let's do a little catch up, man. How's your month been? Like having a good time over there in the UK?
Yeah, the weather's been pretty good. It's coming to the end of the season, if you like. Now we're getting a bit of the nights drawing in, but yeah, work's been good. Life's all good for me, man. I've been on your guidance, I've been catching up with some ROH, some Ring of Honor, some even some Lucha Underground, and all that good stuff. WOS as well. So, how about you?
I've been doing pretty good. I'm super excited for like All In and for a lot of the Ring of Honor stuff. I'm slowly getting through the second season of Lucha Underground, which is hands down one of my favorite things. This last weekend I got to go to Colorado Springs Comic-Con, which is a couple hours away from where I live. I got to watch a panel with Trish Stratus and Lita, which was really, really just a ton of fun to listen to them talk about the wrestling business. And then I got to meet Rey Mysterio for a little bit of time and talk to him about Lucha Underground some and about Aero Lucha and how excited he is for it to be working, but how slow it's going. And and then got to do a photo op with Juan from Thinking Outside the Long Box, and we got our picture taken with Rey Mysterio Jr., which was awesome because it's probably the only chance I'll ever get to take a picture with a wrestler that's shorter than I am. So.
Nice. How was Ray, man? How did you find Ray? Did he have much to say?
Yeah, he was super pleasant, just chatted with him for a little bit about Lucha Underground. It was cool because I was like, dude, I'm loving, I had literally just watched him and Dragon Azteca and Prince Puma win the Trios champion the night before, which obviously was a year and some ago, but I was like, dude, I just watched that match. It was the most amazing match. And he asked me, he's like, what do you think of the product, man? And I was like, honestly, I love it. It's one of my favorite wrestling shows to watch. And he was super stoked about it. Just a really
Ray, though, he is in some great shape again as well.
Oh yeah, dude, he's for a little guy, and I say that obviously kind of euphemistically in the wrestling world, but for a shorter dude, he is just ripped. We try to keep our segments to 10 minutes, but I feel pretty caught up. We want to move on?
Yeah, let's do this.
Awesome. So our first topic for today is going to be our thoughts on SummerSlam and Takeover. And I'm going to let you go first. What do you think? Let's start with Takeover. What did you think of Takeover?
Takeover was out of this world, I think. I think it was definitely the better product. I think I enjoyed it a lot more than SummerSlam, but not to say I didn't enjoy SummerSlam. I thought that was great as well. Some of my favourite moments in the Takeover, though, that the Adam Cole Ricochet match had to be up there. I think that was the match of the evening for me. That was absolutely outstanding. And then the opening tag match, Gabe, with the Mustache Mountain. What a match that was.
It's crazy because you're excited for SummerSlam. SummerSlam is the quote-unquote big show. But every single Takeover makes the pay-per-view after it look good instead of great. It's unbelievable. On Monday Night Raw, after SummerSlam, Triple H came out to do a promo because he's going to wrestle The Undertaker. And he was like, man, Takeover was so good. And then SummerSlam took it up a notch. I was like, it didn't. It was good. It was really, really good, and I really enjoyed it. But holy crap, Takeover was amazing. That Adam Cole Ricochet match, just unbelievable. I mean, just probably two of the highest level wrestlers in the business right now. Every time I see them wrestle, I'm blown away by both of them. So
yeah. And I've got to just mention about SummerSlam though. I mean, there was two parts of SummerSlam that absolutely had me in stitches. I absolutely love two bits. And the first bit was the Braun Strowman. Well, both of them were in the main event. First of all, I love the Braun Strowman coming out and saying, I know the history of this contract and I like to do things face to face. I find that funny. I thought for a moment, Gabe, he was going to cash in and go three-way. I didn't know what you thought, but I thought the match was going to be a three-way for a second there.
So I said, like, my prediction was the whole Kevin Owens gets the briefcase. And then, he cashes it in, and I was so disappointed that he didn't win the briefcase that when Braun Strowman came out, I was like, God, they're not going to have him cash it in, those jerks.
No.
And then, obviously he gets the beat down from Brock and that prevents him from cashing it in and all that stuff. But man, just the build up to that moment, I was like, come on, just do it. Just win that Universal belt from Roman.
You gotta say though, Gabe, that from Vince's point of view, that was a masterstroke because he basically sent them out there to shut the crowd up, and that's exactly what it did.
Oh yeah, it was perfect, and it's like one of those weird moments where the booking actually did it right and pushed Roman Reigns over, which seems like an impossibility, but actually ended up happening. And it effectively just dismissed everything about Brock Lesnar. Like Brock Lesnar was booed off the stage from beating down Braun Strowman because, Braun Strowman is, this, no matter how they book it, because like this week, they tried to make it by pairing Braun up with Dolph and Drew.
Yes.
They tried to push him over his heel, but everybody's been cheering him. It's not going to happen. Like,
no.
It's same with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch comes out on stage, and of course everybody's going to cheer her because absolutely everybody wants her to be on top. In spite of that booking for SummerSlam, it totally won. So
the other part, I don't know about you, Gabe, but this second part, that made me completely, mark out like a little boy. I don't know why, but I love the part. I don't know whether because it was in Brooklyn, but when Braun Strowman was in the ring and telling them about cashing in, and he said he called Brock Lesnar a beastie boy.
Oh.
That was amazing to me.
I don't laugh out loud when I'm watching stuff very often. My wife says it's because I have no sense of humor, but there was that when he said Beastie Boy and the whole crowd went, ooh, like,
Beastie Boy.
It made me laugh so hard. It was the best. So what did you think of the Ciampa Gargano match on TakeOver?
I really liked the match. The ending, though, I didn't find that great. I don't know about you, but the actual match itself, I found kind of the best yet. I really enjoyed it, but the ending, I thought using the handcuffs was a bit lame. I don't know why. It's just something inside of me. I didn't quite take to that ending, Gabe.
The fact that Gargano got injured trying to put over that move at the end, I think it bums me out because it was a great match, but to end it with like a legit injury kind of, especially with Aleister Black out with a legit injury too, like as a consequence, now two of your top faces are like out for like an indeterminate amount of time. But I'm glad that Ciampa went over like in the match. I'm glad that he won because Ciampa is great as a champion because he comes out, no music, the booing, just like the almost on that cusp of like legitimate old school heat, nobody's trying to stab him yet.
I mean, if we're going to talk SummerSlam, we need to talk about what do you think is going to happen with Kevin Owens, because we know that on Raw we saw him quit in the middle of the ring. Obviously, he didn't really quit because I think he signed a 5-year deal. But is he going away basically to lose weight, Gabe? Is that the story?
I haven't read too much about what they're saying on like the dirt sheets and stuff. But what I think may genuinely happen is that All In we see Kevin Owens in a mask.
What?
I would love for that to happen. I think he might be able to get away with it with the angle that he did at Raw, and then come back from Raw and be like, oh man, I got a really good workout this weekend, and like kind of, you know, the way Ring of Honor has been like, you know, I know it's not a Ring of Honor branded event, but, you know, I'm Colt Cabana and I'm going to be at All In, you know, if Kevin Owens drops some like subtle hints that he's at All In. So I don't know. That's what I would love to see happen. You know, and it may not. I like to make wild predictions about Kevin Owens on the show, so we'll see. What do you think they're going to do with him? Just let him go off TV to lose a little bit?
Well, I heard like Vince McMahon is not happy with his weight, which really kind of aggravates me because Kevin Owens is Kevin Owens, and as far as I know, even in the Indies, he's never been any different weight. So surely that is him, isn't it? You know,
it is him. You know, but I would say over the last 6 months, his pot belly has grown.
That has, yeah.
I mean, and I'm not one to judge because I am a tub. Like,
yeah.
You know, like,
that's a word too.
But I am also not a professional wrestler. So.
Yeah.
What else really stuck out with you at SummerSlam? I know I really enjoyed the 3-way with Charlotte and Becky Lynch. And
that was good.
And the way it ended with, you know, with Becky Lynch beating down Charlotte, which is supposed to be like this heel turn, but ends up just putting her over as even more of a babyface, I thought was amazing. The crowd absolutely loved that, Gabe. The reaction was just amazing, like you say. As soon as she did that, instant pop, wasn't it? I can't see for the life of me why they're trying to do this to so many wrestlers, just instant turn them heel. I don't really understand what they're trying to do with it, because like you say, nobody's going to boo Becky Lynch. Nobody's going to boo Braun Strowman. I don't know if even Braun, I don't know if just next week they'll have him turn on, all of a sudden he'll turn on them again and look instant face again, but I don't know. I just don't know what they're trying to achieve by it. Yeah, I don't really either. Like a part of, you know, with Road Dogg, Jesse James at the helm, like as a booker and writer, there's a part of me that's like, are you drinking again, man? Like,
yeah.
what
you think as well with like his years in the business, he'd know better really, because it's not kind of thing that even I'd do, and I wouldn't call myself like a booker. I'm definitely not a booker, but you know, I'm not going to even put myself there, but even I could book better than that, I think.
You know, what I really hope is that over time, because you saw like, you know, Monday after SummerSlam, Becky Lynch came out, tried to cut a heel promo, and the crowd wasn't having it. Then when she came out, or not Raw, sorry, SmackDown after SummerSlam. When she came out this week, she was a little bit more tweener, and I think they're recognizing, like, what's happening. And we'll see what happens with Braun. Like, I mean, no matter what, he's never going to be, I think they would have a hard time truly turning him heel unless he, like, beat up somebody else that the crowd loves. Which would have to be, like, Dean Ambrose or something like that. You know, we'll see what happens.
Another thing I liked about SummerSlam was the armbar in the Alexa Bliss match with Ronda Rousey, because of a kind of double jointedness.
Yeah,
she kind of made it
her twisty arm.
Yeah, she basically made it look like she legit was going to break her arm in half. That was pretty impressive.
It was. It looked so awesome, and all I could think to myself was, I know that she's double jointed, but that still looks insanely painful.
Yeah. I still stand by what I said in episode 1, though. I still think that's a bit too early for Ronda Rousey. I know why they've done it. I get the fact that she's, like Brock Lesnar, she is an attraction and she is going to put bums on seats and sell tickets, but I still think it's a bit early. They could have made a story more out of this, Gabe. I don't know about you.
You know, I would have liked for them to make a little bit better of a story out of it, but they did what they did because, like you said, she's an attraction. They're paying her what I can only assume is a metric F ton of money.
Yeah.
You know, and so they got to put her at the top of the card as quick as possible.
That is true.
But what's amazing is it makes that plot line where Alexa Bliss or literally anybody else that she goes against can just call her an overrated rookie because that's exactly what she is in the eyes of a lot of the crowd. But, I mean, you can't deny that the instant Ronda Rousey walks out, you know, down that ramp, the pop she gets is massive. So
it is massive. I'd like to see what they're going to do as in opposition for her. I know obviously Alexa's got to have a rematch, but I would say at the moment until Shayna Baszler arrives, which is going to be awesome, I think. We need some like top-level talent to go against Ronda Rousey, Gabe. What do you think?
I do. I'm hoping that at Evolution they maybe do like a consolidation of the women's title and make her go up against Flair or Lynch, whichever one has the belt by the time Evolution rolls around.
The other thing that I was going to say is last time out we were talking about 3 matches. I then actually thought of one I'd like to see, Ronda Rousey versus AJ Lee. I think a lot of fans would love to see that one.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. I would definitely love that. You know, if they were able to build Asuka back up to the level that she was at when she came over from NXT, I would love to see Asuka and Rousey go, because, I mean, it is by far 2 completely diverse wrestling styles, and it would be pretty fun to watch, So
I want to talk, I know I'm going to jump the gun here, and I know it's on the list to talk about, but I want to talk All In, man. Okay. How about you?
So this is the perfect time for a break, because we're about 3 minutes over our 10 minutes. All In. Carlo, give me your thoughts, man.
Well, let me tell you something, Daddy. My son, Cody, he's gonna bring you a show like you have never seen, Daddy. And then, when that bell rings tonight, baby, he's gonna show you what pro wrestling is all about, Daddy. Not sports entertainment, pro wrestling, Gabe. What do you think, Daddy?
Oh, man, I didn't know Dusty Rhodes had come back from the grave. Oh, man, so I saw something today on Twitter. So be sure to go check out our Twitter at Monday's Podcast. And I saw Cody's brother tweeted him and said, "Good luck tonight, man." Like, and seeing that, I was just like, oh, man, professional wrestling is back in like a real way. And I'm not saying the WWE is not professional wrestling, because it is, and it's amazing, and it does its own thing. But All In is taking it to WWE head to head and saying, what you can do, we can do better. Like, you know, when you watch that Ring of Honor promo at the very beginning of every show and it says, honor is real. And we all know it's not, you know, real fighting, but man, they are making a product that I love.
I think there's something very kind of primal about this. There's something, if you're a pro wrestling fan, there's something in the bottom of your stomach that tells you that tonight, or All In, is very, very important, Gabe. There's something very important about this, just for the future of pro wrestling itself. I think this is going to be a big event, and I'm kind of hoping this is kind of going to be very blunt, but I'm kind of hoping that CM Punk pulled his head out of his backside and showed up tonight.
Oh, man. You know, we're going to get to CM Punk. It's going to be in one of our next segments, but I'm with you. I hope we see CM Punk. I would love to see like a little bit of grudginess between him and Colt Cabana with all like the lawsuits going on. Why not throw that into the mix as part of the storyline? Because you know they have genuine heat with each other, and you can maybe have them do a stare down so that when they wrestle at Madison Square Garden, you could do a match like that.
I've seen Punk is there. He was there at Starrcade today, so he's in the area. So and we know he's from Chicago anyway. So if he's got anything inside him that makes him that, I think
balls is the word you're looking for, if he's got any balls.
Yeah. If he's got any balls, or if he's basically going to, like I say, pull his head out of his backside, then I think he should show up. He should show up for the better of pro wrestling. This is what I was saying. I was kind of speaking to my cousin earlier about it, and I was saying, it's never going to happen, Gabe. Don't get me wrong, but even like, why can't Triple H even show up tonight? You know what I mean? I know he's the head guy of WWE, and I know that that's never gonna happen. But for the better of pro wrestling, and to put it on the landscape that he's a fan of pro wrestling, I can't see why anyone can't really show up tonight. I know they're contracted to WWE, but why can't it be promoted that, you know, there's more out there than just WWE? This is for pro wrestling. This is not for WWE. This is for the betterment of the sport. And just to put it on the landscape, you know? Why can't these things happen? Why have we got to only see the ones we're going to see? Why can't things happen tonight, you know?
You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I would love to see Kevin Owens show up in a mask, or Daniel Bryan show up in a mask. Like, you know who they are, but we're all keeping this kayfabe secret that, oh man, that's Kevin Owens. Don't tell anybody, you know. And I can see, you know, eventually Vince McMahon is going to pass away. And when Vince McMahon passes away, you have Triple H at the helm. Like that's what they build it as.
Well,
and he talks about how he wants to have these international territories, a UK WWE, a Saudi Arabia WWE, all this other stuff. And I could see him saying, hey, we're all in. We're going to loan you 5 guys, you know, so that, because right now it's Ring of Honor, New Japan. You know, I heard rumor that a CZW guy might be there. There's definitely CMLL guys and AAA guys that are going to be there. If they're willing to cross-pollinate across all the brands, All In could be the next real WrestleMania. Not just WWE, not just Ring of Honor, not just this or that, but like a true, this is the who's who of wrestling. And all that's going to do is lift, you know, like they say, the rising tide lifts all boats. That's all it's going to do. The more eyes on all of the different brands just makes everybody better. And the only reason people like Triple H aren't going to be there or The Undertaker's not going to make an appearance is because Vince has this stranglehold on the WWE.
Yes.
Eventually he'll be gone, and I feel like Triple H is the kind of guy that'll work that market.
We know that Triple H in the UK especially has shown up at the Indies. We've seen it. We've seen videos of it.
So like he said, it's good to have friends, right? This is where our business starts. Every single night in a place like this, with guys like this, in a group like ICW.
He shows up at the Indies and gives his praise to the organisation. I've seen him show up at I can't remember the exact organisation he showed up at, and he got booed for being there, and he said, look, I'm not here to rain on the parade. I'm here because I'm on your side, you know. And this is a wrestler. This is a fan of wrestling. I honestly can't see what harm it would do, you know. And obviously it's not going to happen, like we said. But I really can't see, with the eyes of the world on it, what harm it would do for the sport of professional wrestling.
You know, and all it's going to do, like you said, is make it better. You know, and we can't talk about All In without talking about how as soon as they sold out All In, Cody and the Young Bucks turned around and booked Madison Square Garden for WrestleMania weekend and sold that out almost instantaneously too.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about that?
That's amazing to me. That shows you the pull of not only the indies but these wrestlers themselves. This is why it's called All In, is because Cody and the Young Bucks have basically put everything they got on the line to bring you these shows, and the fans are turning out in their droves to see them. And hell, if I lived in the States, there I know people that are actually going from the UK, so that's only literally financial restraints that stop me from going. Otherwise, I'd be on a plane right now. But at the end of the day, this is good for wrestling. I think that's an amazing achievement. And when you talk about they sold these places out in minutes, that's just unbelievable to me.
You know, that for Honor Club members, they did pre-sales for the Madison Square Garden tickets. And in pre-sales alone, before the tickets went live to the general public, they had sold out 60% of Madison Square Garden. So they had already sold out like 8,000 or 9,000 tickets before they even went out to the general public. I mean, it is a ridiculous amount of sales. And like, it's the first time that a 10,000 seat arena, a 15,000 seat arena has sold out for a promotion other than the WWE in decades. I mean,
you cannot say that Cody Rhodes has a draw, man, because at the end of the day, he left WWE and he said that I'm going to travel the world and show you I'm a superstar in what I do. And he has. You can't deny he has, because he is the main man on these things.
Right? And he has the ability to go to other independent wrestlers, guys like Kenny Omega, like the Young Bucks. You know, I mean, even lower level guys that have big draws like Pentagon Jr. or like, I mean, Johnny Mundo / Morrison / whatever the hell his name is this week. You know, I mean, the guy isn't the biggest draw in the world, but maybe there's those 100 people that are coming just to see him.
These guys though, Gabe. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just thinking in my head, you know, you may think that these wrestlers, some of them on the card are kind of Johnny-come-latelys, but to the fans, these guys are huge. Like you say, they might bring another 500 fans to the arena. So for Cody and the guys, that's a big draw.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. You add 100 people here, 500 people here, 200 people here. Next thing you know, because of this draw, that draw, and this person, you're selling out a 15,000 seat arena. And
yeah,
I mean, I, for one, cannot wait to watch it. Like, I am on, you know what I am? I'm hashtag all in.
I'm definitely going to be up early in the morning to watch it over here in the UK. Don't worry. I'll be, I don't even know half the matches on the card and I'm still going to watch it.
Oh, neither do I. I'm in the I was watching the Go Home show for Ring of Honor last night, and they were talking about this belt's getting defended, and these people are wrestling, and everything they said, I was like, can't wait to watch that. Oh, man, I can't wait to watch that. I can't wait to watch that.
Thinking about that, though, do you think that wrestling is the only sport where people, the wrestlers could sell the stadium out without even having a card? Do you think that the wrestlers could show up and literally talk in the ring and the fans wouldn't really care? Obviously, they want to see wrestling action, but do you think that they could sell it out just for the names on the card rather than having face-to-face matches and bookings? Like, just, cause you don't see any other sport that really does that. Obviously, boxing and other contact sports, they always show you what the card is, but wrestling, 9 times out of 10 do it. But do you think that literally on face value alone, I think wrestling's probably the only sport I know that could just sell an arena out like that?
You know, I think they could sell it out by saying these people are going to be there. Because, like, right now, like, I'm going to go see Monday Night Raw here in a few weeks. I know who's going to be there, but I don't know what the matches are. And that's definitely the same kind of thing. Like, if you know that certain people are going to be there and you want to see those certain people, you'll show up no matter who they're wrestling. And that is definitely something that only professional wrestling can get away with.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds like the end of the segment's coming up. I hear that countdown. And we'll come back and talk about World of Sport halfway through the season.
Yeah.
All right. So, Carlo, here's the deal. I have only gotten to watch the first 3 episodes of World of Sport because the stream that I was using got funky. So I'm behind 2 episodes, but I have been listening to a podcast that is reviewing World of Sport. So I'm kind of familiar with what's happened in the last couple of episodes, but I'm not completely caught up. So what I want, tell me, halfway through the season, I think they're about to do episode 6.
Yeah.
How is WOS Wrestling for you?
It's the dawn of a new era. Only the best, the brightest, the most dedicated professional athletes get on this platform. Welcome to WOS Wrestling. Rampage is unstoppable. Oh, great stuff.
Just excited. He truly is a hero among them.
We knew it was inevitable. We knew it was going to happen. And the damage is justified. Welcome to a new era.
I really enjoy WOS. I think that's different. I think that's very, like we said before, and episode 1, very British. If I was me, I'd kind of cut down a little bit more on the corniness. We said about it before, and that's kind of the British way, but I would kind of cut it down a little bit more. I think I have, actually. I think the emphasis is more or less on the wrestling in the ring, and I think the wrestling in the ring is actually of a very good standard. There's some really good wrestlers in there. At the minute, they're kind of coming to the end of their tag team tournament for the new tag team champions, which is really cool. Actually, I think this one, I haven't seen episode 6 myself, Gabe, because that's actually on today for me, but that's the finals of the tag team tournament, which looked very cool. But I think overall as a product, WOS is actually really good. And they're actually got that, like last episode, we were saying about the fan base and is it growing and is it doing any good? I know for a fact that A, there's a season 2 confirmed, because I've asked the guys and they've told me. And B, WOS is actually going on a live tour, which I'm going to go to in January next year. So that's very, very good.
Oh, that's awesome. So I had not heard that they had renewed for season 2 yet. So that's really good news. And a live tour, that speaks to me that they're growing. Like if they weren't growing, they wouldn't be taking that risk, because that's a lot of money to put.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they're literally going coast to coast in the UK, which is kind of weird as well, because some of these wrestling tours is kind of localized to the area, so that'll be London, Manchester, like the basically the main cities, but they're kind of going to the outer arenas as well, which is really cool.
Man, it's cool to see. So I'm not super familiar with British wrestling, obviously, because I'm not there. Like I had said before, I've watched some Progress and stuff like that. Watching World of Sport, man, it's just like a totally different like take on it. Like you said, it's a little corny, but I kind of like that. Like it reminds me of WWF era of wrestling, where the characters are a little over the top, the villains are really bad, and the good guys are really good, and the crowd knows who to boo and who to cheer, and it's so much fun to watch. Like I love that style of wrestling. You have a curmudgeon-y guy on the internet like Jim Cornette. He's always bitching about this thing or that thing, and though I find his show very entertaining, I don't always agree with what he says.
Yeah.
But WOS strikes me as the kind of product that he's looking for, where the spots are safe, but awesome to watch. There's not a million kickouts in every match. Some dude gets dropped with one giant move, and that's the end of the match. Those kind of things. And I think part of that is the constraint of like an hour-long show. A show like Ring of Honor, a show like Lucha Underground, a show like World of Sport, because they're constrained to that 1 hour. It's just non-stop action, and it's really, really well done.
So for the US contingent out there that listen to the podcast, Gabe, just tell the listeners, like, what is it? Like which characters are you kind of into? You told me about Grado before. I think some of the women in the wrestling, in the WOS are actually really good as well, like the Viper and B. Priestley, and what kind of grabs you?
I really like Priestley. I think she's like a super talented wrestler. Everything I've seen her do has been on par. I love Grado. I love Rampage as a champion, because he's just such an over-the-top heel. And you'll have to remind me, who's the guy that's the northerner that wears the scarf? What is that dude's name again?
Oh no. That's gone off the top of my head.
I love that he comes out and so I don't know really.
He's proper London style, isn't he? Proper London style.
He comes out and he's wearing the scarf and he just looks like a jerk. He has that punch me face. I love smashing them Yankees right in the face. And then he interferes in matches, but he puts on a great show. The spectacle that is Crater, man.
He's He's good.
Holy crap, that dude is enormous. And he's got that mask on that kind of looks like Bane from Batman's mask. Oh man, he's amazing to watch. Like the fact that dude can even walk around the ring, let alone do some of the stuff he does in ring. I mean, it's amazing. Like that guy, the guy is a spectacle. He's like watching Andre the Giant or watching Vader or Bam Bam Bigelow, where you're like, dude, how do you even move?
Proper old school as well, like you say, kind of like, he reminds me, the way he moves, kind of like Earthquake style. He's proper, like you said, old school WWF wrestling style.
And that's what I love about it. Like the storylines are, sure, they're a little silly. You know, the general manager whose name also escapes me. Like
Steve Bennett?
Yeah, Steve Bennett. How he comes out, he's all right, don't be angry at my British accent. He comes out, he's all, there's not going to be any more comedy matches. We're just going to be real wrestlers really beating each other up. You know, like, I love that he comes out and acts like comedy is, BS and he hates it. But
yeah,
he's hilarious. Like, his total, sell of only serious wrestling is just as funny as Grado bumping around the ring. It's so good.
Well, Gabe, you're the nexus or against this,
How was my British accent? Was it pretty terrible?
No comment. No comment, mate.
No, that sounded pretty Australian.
Oh, so man. Yeah, you've got obviously Wade Barrett, which Gabe said, Steve Bennett. You've also got talking to names. You've also got the son of the British Bulldog, who was in the WWE as well.
That's right, and he's really good. I mean, and that's what's awesome is there's a lot of kind of corny WWF style wrestling happening, but then you also have Will Ospreay, which is that true indie style
great wrestler.
And
yeah.
Just across the board, the combination of the two just makes for an unbelievably entertaining product that I have got to find a stream for again. Because as soon as I went to watch episode 4 last week, I was like, oh, come on, it's got to be here. I'm loving it. I love it. So
yeah, so I think WS, for all you guys listening, is definitely worth a watch. I mean, check it out. It's not, like Gabe said, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's definitely worth watching if you're a wrestling fan.
If you like tea, you'll probably like it. I'm just saying.
Sorry, you guys prefer coffee, I know, but...
they don't... It's hard to find tea in the United States that has the level of caffeine that coffee has. So I think that's why we guzzle so much coffee. Oh, man, so I think we're coming up on that marker again. When we come back, we're going to say CM Punk, WTF. All right, we're back. Let's talk a little bit about CM Punk.
You lay there, hopefully as uncomfortable as you possibly can be. I want you to listen to me. I want you to digest this, because before I leave in 3 weeks with your WWE Championship, I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
Oh, no.
So you and I talked about it, we talked a little bit about it on Facebook Messenger, and we talked a little bit about it just now. Obviously, All In is happening in Chicago. CM Punk is from Chicago. CM Punk is at the StarCast. There's no reason for him to not come to All In, at the very least to drop a hot promo on Colt Cabana or the WWE. But here's the reality. CM Punk, what are you doing, man? You got your butt handed to you in 2 UFC fights. Why wouldn't you take the easy road and come back to pro wrestling at the very least as an attraction? Wrestle 3 or 4 matches a year, cash in a paycheck. It makes no kind of sense. And there's a part of me that wonders, is CM Punk just an a-hole? Was that not a character? Is he just a turd and we don't like him? What?
I just wonder, the thing is, Gabe, I just wonder if his ego will allow him to go to All In tonight.
I would hope so. I would hope that he can, keep his ego in check long enough to cut a promo or something. Because there's no reason that he can't say, hey, I'm going to walk out on stage and All In is going to pay me a few $100, a few grand maybe even.
I just feel like you think with a guy, like you say, he's had his ass completely handed to him with the MMA, you think that he would have a bit of humility and just show up and say, you know what, I've had my ass handed to me in MMA, but I'm back in pro wrestling and I'm going to make a name for myself again. And if I have to start here or anywhere, then this is what I'll do because I've done it before. Use that drive to show people that you're not an a-hole, you're an actual pro wrestler, and you want to make a name for yourself again, because this is a good catalyst for him now, Gabe. This is actually his moment to say, yeah, I want to be back. If he wants to be back, maybe he doesn't, I don't know. But if he does, this is actually his chance now, because, like I said to you on Facebook, I honestly, I know probably a lot of fans listening to the podcast will not agree with this, but I really don't like CM Punk. I don't know Phil Brooks personally.
Oh,
probably,
man, I think I can hear the booing from here.
probably though, as an individual, like one-on-one, Phil Brooks is actually probably a very nice guy, but I find CM Punk to be nothing but a whingy, self-loathing, self-centered little whiny bitch. And to be honest with you, and just before he left WWE, he was at his lowest point, because all he had to do was be a man. Because at the end of the day, Gabe, if he'd have went up to Vince McMahon and said, I want a softer schedule, I'm injured, I'm hurt, I want to call time for a while, Vince would have let him do that, because at the end of the day, what choice would he have had if he'd have just been a man about it, rather than just basically got himself the sack, you know?
And there's tons of people that have done that. Like, there's tons of people that have had to say, hey, like, I need to step back for a little bit. Like, look at Daniel Bryan. Like, he retired for years, you know, to recover. You know, if you're the kind of top draw that CM Punk is, you know he could have worked something out. And you know a big part of it is just, so I have this problem. When I'm upset with somebody, or when I think they're upset with me, I just hold on to it. I never let it go, and I never say anything, because I think I'm being the stronger person by ignoring the conversation. And I think CM Punk is that kind of guy. And I think, like, so his countersuit with Colt Cabana, I feel, is a perfect example of this. So they go through their whole lawsuit thing. They have all that BS sorted away. And then at the end of the day, CM Punk says, you know I told you that I would cover all of it financially, but I can't afford it, so I'm going to sue you for the money. Just have that conversation with Colt Cabana. Just sit down with him and say, hey, this is what happened. I think I need help. I'm not going to be able to afford it. If he sits and has that conversation with his friend, they probably could have sorted it out outside of the courts, but instead he just held on to it and did it like the half-ass way, and that kind of bums me out.
I feel like his attitude just gets the better of him, and he was hurt, and obviously you could see at the end of his run in WWE he was absolutely knackered. And I just feel like if he was more of a man, he would have just literally told Vince and Triple H. He'd have said, look, I've had enough of this, I'm really hurt, I'm tired, I'm injured, which is what he did. But the way he did it was absolutely atrocious, because if I'd have went up to my manager at work and spoke to him the way that he spoke to Vince McMahon, I'd have ended up out on my ass as well, Gabe. And I just think if he'd have been a real man about it and just, like you say, sat down with Vince, told him, look, I want a lighter schedule, I'm goddamn hurt, I'm up to the eyeballs in pain, I need some time off, as one of their biggest stars. And I'm not denying the fact he was a great wrestler, a great champion, but as one of their biggest stars, Vince would have had no choice but to give the guy the time off. He could have just dealt with everything better.
He could have, and I'm in the same boat as you. I think he's a phenomenal wrestler, and his ability to cut a promo is not something to be scoffed at. Like, the dude knows what he's doing. Like, he has the time in the indies that proves that. But like you said, like, just bite the bullet and say, hey, I'm hurt. Hey, I'm sick. And sure, Vince tends to brand people as easily injured. I mean, look at how he buried the Revival, you know?
Yeah.
That might have happened to CM Punk if he would have gone to Vince and said, hey, I'm hurt, I need to take some time off. But he also is at a skill set where he absolutely would have been able to recover from getting buried. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Finn Balor. Finn Balor wins the Universal title. You know, he has to give it up because he's injured. As soon as he comes back, he gets half-ass booked, but he's still so good that there's no way around. Finn Balor's amazing. He needs a push, and eventually he's going to get that push once he's done wrestling Baron Corbin for whatever reason.
like I said to you, I kind of equate the whole thing to the Hitman Bret Hart thing, as the whole, you know, where people say Bret screwed Bret, and, you know, sorry, Vince screwed Bret, and I don't necessarily think Vince did screw Bret. I think Brett screwed Brett, because at the end of the day, he was going to walk out. He wanted to walk out of the company as the champion and take the belt on another TV show. A, Vince was never going to let him win. And B, Vince was never going to let him take the title away. And that's exactly what that CM Punk got to that level where he thought he was kind of untouchable. And I feel like at the end of the day, the buck stopped with Vince. Whether you like him or not, Gabe, you're working in his company. He's the boss. And I'm sure you've had some run-ins with your boss. You can't tell them what to do. They tell you what to do. If he wants you to do something, I'm afraid, however big a star you feel as though you are, you have to do it.
Well, I mean, I am the biggest superstar at work, so I really just tell my boss. Not true. There's like weeks at a time where my boss just doesn't talk to me. So.
Do you kind of feel that though? Do you get what I mean? From that kind of...
all joking aside, I 100% understand what you mean. Like if you mouth off to your boss is going to treat you like garbage. Like that's just the way life works. And CM Punk mouthing off to Vince McMahon, it sent him down this road because it was outside of the storyline. You know, because it was real life and him just really being kind of a jerk to Vince. Of course he's going to get shut down. Of course he's going to get just completely buried by the company. Like there's no way around that. There's no way to avoid that.
Obviously, the average wrestling fan is probably going to side with Punk or Brett or... You know, I understand that because you're a fan, but you also got to see it from the company's point of view. In that they hire these guys, they fire these guys, and at the end of the day, it's a wrestling show. You're there to do whatever you're told to do, whether you like it or not. And you know as well as I do, Gabe, with Vince, you know the line he pulls.
Right. I mean, and of course we're going to side with the wrestlers too, because most of us hate our boss. Like, you know, like you go to work every day and you think to yourself, man, wouldn't it be amazing if I could throw my boss off the Hell in a Cell?
I mean, listening to myself back, I probably think I'm a jerk for saying it, but... you know what I mean?
Oh, man, why does that guy like his boss so much?
Believe me, it's not that. It's just literally that. I don't know, just because I'm older now. I mean, back in the day when I was watching the Attitude Era and stuff, I would just... kind of blindly, if you like, just love the wrestlers and anything they say and like go along with anything they say and like behind the scenes as well. But when you become an adult, you can see it from both sides, and I just don't think it's as clear cut as just to say, oh, CM Punk got screwed, Brett got screwed. You have to see it from their point of view, and that's their company. And at the end of the day, if you were the boss, you probably wouldn't let them sort of throw that attitude at you either. You know, you gotta give as good as you get, I guess.
I would agree with that. Like there's definitely a moment where you just kind of have to suck it up and do your job. And, you know, if you're too injured to do your job, then you got to suck it up and say something. Come
on, but not only this, Gabe. We know even Austin got the cold end. He got the shaft because he didn't lay down for Brock Lesnar.
Right? I mean, even the best sometimes have to do the dirty deed they don't want to do. But
but no, just to go back, CM Punk, I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. I think this is actually good timing for him because, like we said, he's had his ass kicked. This is a chance for him to have a rebirth of his own career as a pro wrestler and just come in the ring and show a bit of humility. I'd love to see him speak on the mic and, like I said, just say, you know what, I've had my ass kicked, but I'm back, baby. You know, just show us something.
I'd love to see him come back home, as it were.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll accept you with open, booing arms, CM Punk.
Yes.
All right. Well, I hear that countdown coming up. When we come back, Carlo and I are going to talk about if you could attend one pay-per-view from the past in the front row, which one would it be?
Steve Austin is alive today because of his great self-defense.
That's a book.
You want to have more respect for Steve Austin? Why not?
Left for you, and I'll tell you this: on the unforgiven, Austin's going to get his ass whipped. He's going to get his ass whipped in Pittsburgh.
By who?
He knows it.
Kurt Angle. By Kurt Angle. Get out of your mind.
My ass.
Oh man, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about it. This is if you listen to Thinking Outside the Long Box, which is my other podcast, this is kind of like the old man pick for the episode where we're going to cheese out about a pay-per-view event that we would have loved to see front row. So, all right, I'm gonna let you go first because I'm hoping that we don't have the same pick.
Okay, well, this was really tied for me, because as I said in the first episode, the first event I watched, which is still actually one of my favourite events ever, is WrestleMania 6. So it nearly was that, Gabe. It nearly was that. But then I thought to myself, if there's one event I'd want to attend, just to see what the actual real buzz in the audience was like, and just to see how the crowd went, it'd have to be Bash at the Beach, I believe, 97, 96, with the Hulk Hogan being the third man, being the NWO.
Hulk Hogan's here! Hulk Hogan is in the building! You damn right he is! Go get him, Hulkster! Yeah, but whose side is he on? What are you talking about? Whose side is he on? What are you talking about? Yes, sir! Get him, Hogan! Go get him, baby! Come on and get some of this now! Who's bad now, boys? Hulk Hogan arrived. Hulk. What is he doing? Oh, my God. Is he the third man? He's the third man. What the hell is going on?
And I would have loved to have been there just to see the fans' reaction and all that crap getting thrown in the ring and everything else, you know?
That's pretty awesome. That would definitely be a great pay-per-view to be at. Just the crowd going absolutely bonkers over that stuff would be so much fun to be a part of. So how do you think you would have reacted in the crowd? What do you think you would have done?
Well, it's funny because when we said about it, I kind of went on WWE Network and I was just looking through and thinking I was never actually a big WCW fan back in the day. I think I've told you this before, but not on the podcast. Yeah, I was. Back in the day, I was kind of very much WWF, and anything else was second rate to me. I was always pro WWF. Everything was pro WWF. So even in the Attitude Era, I legitimately believe there was massive beef between the wrestlers of WCW and WWF. So for me, WWF was everything. So now I kind of watch it back and actually really enjoy some of the pay-per-views from WCW, because at the time I never really watched them, which is awesome for WWE Network. But yeah, I think to be there, my reaction would have been the same. Because at the time, it's hard to imagine now, but at the time, you'd never ever think that Hulk Hogan was going to do this. I mean, the only thing I can kind of equate it to for modern day fans is John Cena. If John Cena literally turned his back on everything that he believed in and threw away his cap and his green T-shirt and
dyed his hair black and pushed over a kid in a wheelchair.
Oh yeah, man. I can't even, I was thinking about this the other day. I can't even think of a wrestler that John Cena could attack to make himself heel nowadays, because you'd have to have that massive, like you say, a massive face for him to attack, like maybe, I don't know, like a Seth Rollins or like you say, a Dean Ambrose type character maybe, but yeah, I think that's the only thing I can kind of equate the Hulk Hogan heel turn to, but even that is small fry compared to this, because this was huge. In the time frame it happened, nobody expected it. Obviously, you had Hall and Nash come in WCW. They come in saying they were going to take over. Before kind of the rumor mills and all that kind of stuff. This was before any of that stuff. This was just literally, like, you didn't see any marks. You didn't see anyone in the crowd with, oh, Hogan is Hogan is going to turn or whatever. You didn't see any signs for that. I didn't see anyone expecting it to happen. And when it did happen, it was just amazing. And I was just shocked. Like, I would be shocked, Gabe.
Oh, it was, I actually watched it on TV when it was happening, because at the time,
right.
I had talked to you. I was actually a little bit more of a WCW fan.
Yeah.
And I think a part of it was because of a lot of the, like, cruiserweight, like, lucha style stuff that was happening. And just, it was a little bit more of a varied product than WCW
at that moment, though.
At the time, yeah.
At that moment, though, Gabe, when he dropped that leg, tell me how you felt, because you must have been legit shocked when he dropped the leg.
Everybody.
Did you even when he done it, did you think that can't be true, like that kind of thing?
Everybody in the house, because I was watching it with a bunch of friends, booed and just lost their minds. Like, oh my God, I can't believe this! Like, Hulk Hogan, are you kidding me? Like, it was just the amount of, like, angst that was happening in the room at the time. All of our minds were completely blown, because this was a little bit before, the disappearance of kayfabe totally. Like,
yes.
We didn't necessarily understand that this was, plotted out, this was scripted. This was like Hulk Hogan literally turning away from the fans. Like, that's what it felt like. It wasn't just like a heel turn. It was he doesn't just hate that guy, he hates us. Because we've been cheering for him for decades, and what does that dastardly jerk do?
I've heard stories as well.
Like, there was, the whole house that we were in was legitimately angry. Like, not just like oh, what a great, turn, boo. Literally, screw Hulk Hogan, that piece of crap, I hate you now. And it turns out that that's more suited to his real personality than the, say your prayers and brush your teeth Hogan one.
I've heard stories though, Gabe, like legit stories of like when Hogan was doing a meet and greet and like picture ops at like Toys R Us in New York City, and a lady with like 3 kids was coming up to him, and it was all pleased like, oh, they're going to post the photos and stuff, and she legit smacked him round the face and started having a go at him in front of her kids. Like saying, hey, could you do this?
I can only imagine that there were people that were just like livid, legit, old school heat. Like anything I can do to get in front of Hulk Hogan and like give him a slap or spit on him or yell at him or something. I bet he caught so much crap for months after that. Like, it was. Do you remember as well when he was in the ring with Mean Gene and all the crap come flying in the ring? When he was Dude, everybody, people were legitimately furious with him. It was amazing. Okay, so here's mine, and I'm so glad you didn't pick this one. I was like, oh man,
It was hard though, it was hard.
In 1998, there had only been one other singles Hell in a Cell match. But in King of the Ring 1998, a match was booked between The Undertaker and Mankind, a.k.a. real name Mick Foley.
Bang, bang!
I was not mentally prepared for the match that unfolded before my eyes.
No.
So King of the Ring, it was like an okay pay-per-view. There were some really good matches. But that Hell in a Cell match between The Undertaker and Mick Foley, I would have killed to be front row at.
Yes.
As a wrestling fan at the time, I was really big into ECW, so I knew who Cactus Jack was. I love, guys like Sabu, and Sandman. I love that hardcore style. Tommy Dreamer, in my mind, was the man with the dream, the man with the plan. He was going to take wrestling into the future. No part of me expected for Mankind and Undertaker to put on the kind of insane hardcore match they put on with Hell in the Cell. There literally will never be a Hell in the Cell match like that again, because nobody is going to be willing to take the kind of bumps that Mick Foley took. He got punished on inhuman levels. Like, I am 100% convinced that Mick Foley's bones are partially made of rubber, or he would be dead. That call when he takes, he goes through the cell onto the mat, he's knocked out, and you hear JR. He's dead. Oh my God. Mankind is in.
Undertaker fighting back. He's fighting back. They're right above us, folks, and I don't like it a damn bit. Oh my God. Look at oh my God. God is my witness. He is broken in half.
Dead. I thought he was dead. I thought he was legitimately not going to get back up. And then for him to come back after that match, and it's just unbelievable. Just an unbelievable match.
So there's two things that I got to take from this. One is that even to this very day, that clip of Mick coming off the top of that cell is still used to this very day. It's that much of a moment in wrestling history that's still used today. But also, the other thing I want to take from it is that what you said about the commentary. And last episode, we were talking about Attitude Era and was it good as we thought it was. And the one thing I missed to comment about was the fact that in my opinion, we said the wrestling today is better, as a standard is better, but the commentary back in the day, oh my God, was next level.
So amazing. Like,
so believable, though, because they would sell it to you. They would sell it to you like it was a legit shoot.
And I feel like the only person that is even coming close to that level of commentary in the WWE right now is Corey Graves.
Yeah.
You know, when something happens...
Mauro is good. Mauro sells.
He is, but Corey Graves pops for it as a fan. When something crazy happens, he sells it because he loves it too. Whereas, Michael Cole could not say a word through the entire show, and I would be happy. Like, that guy says dumbest crap on the face of the earth.
I feel like Michael Cole is got his feet too far under the table. He's been there too long. Because if you look at Michael Cole when he first started out with Taz on SmackDown, he was actually really good because he was fresh in the game and he was getting used to the product and everything. If you go back and look on the network, he was actually really good at that period of time. And then pay-per-views as well at that time, he was very good. But now I feel like he's all too easy for him, you know. Like you say, 9 times out of 10 he comes up with real silly catchphrases or whatever, or tries to, or just mentions the big dog. Yeah. Hey, at least he doesn't mention Twitter all the time like they used to, Gabe. I remember that.
He's too busy mentioning Evolution right now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But yeah, for me, King of the Ring 1998, I would have loved to have been at that. I probably would have been, horrified to watch it, but just on the edge of my seat the entire time.
See, the only thing, Gabe, that annoys me about the clip being shown, which is awesome, but it doesn't show the match because the match itself is awesome. Like, it is legitimately good. Like, if you guys haven't seen it, I know some of the guys who listen are younger fans. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. Go on the network, check out King of the Ring, like Gabe says, check out this match. You could legitimately be horrified for the rest of your life, but it's worth checking out.
I've watched enough Japanese death matches that I was okay watching it, but even with a lot of that old FMW Oneida match stuff that I had put into my brain, even with all that stuff in my brain, I was still just oh my God, they are gonna inadvertently kill someone right now. So,
but this is also you know, like I was saying, I was really pro WWF, and anything else was second rate. Well, I never even really watched ECW until I got the WWE Network. That's how much of a WWF fan I was. I never wanted to watch anything apart from WWF, and now that's where the network comes into its own, I think.
I would definitely I agree with that. The best part of the network is going back and watching all the old stuff. So. All right, well, I think that brings us to the end of this segment. Well, guys, that brings us to the end of issue 2 of A Month of Mondays, the monthly wrestling podcast. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/momwrestlingpod or on Twitter at Mondays Podcast. You can also find us at baronspace.com/momwrestlingpod. The best thing you can do for our show right now is to rate it and review it. Wherever you're listening to your podcast, you can find us on Google Podcasts, a.k.a. Google Play, on Stitcher, on iTunes, pretty much anywhere that you can find your podcast. Carlo, what do you have to say for yourself? How do you feel?
I'd rather fight a man than make love to a woman.
Oh, that is a bizarre sentiment. It kind of feels like that means you would rather get hot and sweaty with a dude in front of a camera.
Well, if that includes a Hell in a Cell. Now, I'm just throwing some old school Big Cat Ernie Ladd at you, Gabe. Big Cat.
I love it. Man, Carlo, this has been an absolute pleasure. I am glad that we get to sit down and chat about wrestling for an hour every month. I can't wait to come back next month. Well, we'll have another hour of amazing wrestling content. Hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, shoot us an email, which I don't have written down, but I definitely should. I'm pretty sure it's also momwrestlingpod@gmail.com. If it's not, go to baronspace.com/momwrestlingpod. You can find all the different ways to contact us. Tell us what you want us to talk about. We're going to just keep trucking forward, man. And we come up with I have a list of topics that we haven't even touched, but we want to know what our fans want us to talk about. Carlo, tell us a little bit about our fan page that's coming up on the website. I know.
So if you guys want to be involved with the podcast, you hit us up on Twitter, on the Facebook page, on what Gabe said. You can find us all on there. And if you throw us a picture of yourself in your favorite wrestling T-shirt with a name and where you come from, you will go on our wrestling fan interaction page. We've also already got a few on there. If you guys want to join that, then hit us up on Twitter, like I said, or Facebook, or email us, and Gabe will sort that out. We'll get you guys up on our fan interaction page.
And honestly, too, we'd love to see you with, if you caught a selfie with CM Punk or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to be posting my pictures that I have with Jerry the King Lawler and me and Juan with Rey Mysterio Jr. and Ric Flair and Sting. We've gotten to meet some amazing wrestlers, and I bet you guys as wrestling fans have gone to some wrestling shows and met some awesome wrestlers too. So hit us up, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you find your podcast, rate and review. Be sure to subscribe. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to that. There's basically a million different ways that you can listen to the show.
Grab a T-shirt.
Yeah, grab a T-shirt. I almost forgot about those. You can find all of that on our Bear and Space page, bearandspace.com/momwrestlingpod. Carlo, awesome issue 2. Thanks for being on the show with me. This is a great idea, and I'm glad that you wrangled me into it.
Oh, let's do this, man. It's been amazing. Bring on issue 3.
We'll see you guys in a month.
Expressed by Carl and Gabe are entirely their own and do not represent any other entity. Thank you for listening, and remember to hit that subscribe button now. And don't forget to drop a review and star rating wherever you listen to the show. You've been listening to A Month of Mondays, the monthly wrestling podcast, a Bear and Space production.